Hello? Oh my goodness. Ah, which way do I need to turn this? I got a new setup from last week. Some of you might be able to see. Hi, Jess. Everyone that's joining. I was live on TikTok just a minute ago, so I know that there might be some people popping in from there. That might be about as good as we're getting for this time around. It's better than me sitting on the floor like I was last week. So welcome back to the stream. Welcome. I am again editing Shade of the Shadowlands, which is the second book in the Guardians of the Sixth Gate series. Let me know in the comments what you are working on tonight. Are you writing? Are you reading? Are you just enjoying the company? I did seriously think about maybe just reading for the stream or just sitting back and doing other stuff because today was quite the day. If you follow me on my social media accounts like my Instagram and my TikTok, here I'll put those up also. So on TikTok, I am Miss Amy Procopus right there. I posted there first. So this morning I got up and I saw like a news article on, I don't remember what it was, on something I'd opened up like you do, and it made me kind of frustrated and angry. And then I had to take the trash out, and it was kind of a smelly trash thing. I had just changed the 2-year-old's diaper, so it was a smelly one. And I went to take it out through the garage, and when I opened the garage door, it broke. And one side started to come up, the other didn't, which then broke all of the railings, all the stuff on the side. It was a whole thing. The engine started to smoke up there. It was a whole moment. So there's TikTok. That's where it went first. Took um I then reposted that on Instagram. I'm just Amy Procopus on Instagram. And that's how my day started. So I did think seriously about just kind of taking it easy tonight and not trying to do a lot of work, but I think it'll make me feel better. Writing always makes me feel better. So I'm going to write tonight. Those are my social media accounts. And here is my website. A couple months ago, I revamped it. So amyprocopus.com. I moved it from Bluehost to Wix. It looks a lot nicer, cleaner on Wix. That's where my website is. Subscribe to my newsletter. It's at the bottom of the webpage. I send out kind of like an agenda for the month every single month through the newsletter. It's the only place across all the platforms I'm on. It's the only place where you're going to get like advance notice about everything going out on my YouTube, on social media. I plan on putting out like early access to stuff through there also. So when I announce the publication date for Shade of the Shadowlands, I actually plan on pushing it out through my email newsletter first and then posting it online. So make sure you subscribe to that if you want to get early access to stuff like that. I'm also on Patreon. So if you want exclusive content, for instance, in December, I wrote a romance book with kind of like a fantasy thing on the side. It's about a witch. I wrote an entire book in December. I posted the whole draft on my Patreon. I plan to publish that book in this next holiday season, so next December. But if you want to read it early, you can read the whole book on Patreon. So fun stuff there. That's where that's posted. Let's see what you guys are up to. Jessica says, I've decided to edit. We are going to edit together. That'll be super fun. It's always nice to have company when you're working on a project, because writing can feel like a solo thing so much of the time. There are times in the process where I feel like I've been alone way too long and like I might go crazy. So it's nice to have somebody doing it alongside you, or just somebody to not even just to bounce ideas off, just somebody to chat with about it as you go. So happy to have you as always. Uh that's what we are working on. What is everybody reading right now? That's what I was reading. That's what I was doing before I hopped on this stream. I was reading, and I've been working on this book far too long. I didn't get to it at Christmas, so I'm reading it late. I'm reading Christmas as We Know It by Sarah Sutton. It's her Christmas book. I started it a couple weeks ago. Usually it takes me a week to get through a book. I'm having a harder time getting through it because I'm trying to balance editing, and I'm a school counselor full time, and we are trying our best to get everybody's second semester schedule done before the second semester actually starts up. So I've been really busy, so I'm moving a little slow through it, but I really like it. That's what I've been reading lately. So Jen, sorry I'm a little late. That is perfectly fine. Jessica says, couldn't agree more. Virtual community is always nice. Yes, book talk and my friends on YouTube have been amazing. That has made such a big difference in my growth as a writer. I've learned a lot from others online, especially authors, because I'm still like a little baby author. This will be my third book that comes out, Shade of the Shadowlands. So I've learned so much from people online, just seeing their process and then asking questions. That has been huge. And so far I haven't had anyone I've reached out to online tell me they won't talk with me. So everyone's been super nice. Jen, I'm going to be working on draft 3 tonight. Currently rereading Legend Born. I am also reading Legend Born. I am doing the audiobook version. I'm only a couple chapters in though. So I've been reading this one mostly in the evenings. That's what I've been doing. And I've been listening to Legend Born when I'm like doing things around the house or when I'm out on my runs. That's what I've been doing too. I love it so far. So Jen, you're rereading it. I knew you'd read it before. I can see why you raved about this book so much. Oh my gosh. These characters are really fun. And I like the voice of the main character. She's awesome. Jessica, I haven't read that one yet, but it is on my TBD, my TBR. Christmas as We Know It. It's super cute. Basically everything I've read by Sarah Sutton just kind of warms my heart. I've described it to my friends as like a really good Hallmark movie. They're super cute. Love them. And Jess says, I am about halfway through The Arena. Thank you so much, Jess, for reading that. Oh my gosh. So The Arena is the first book I ever published. It is science fiction with kind of a romance undertone. A reader I ran into a couple weeks ago told me that it reminded him of Divergent. It involves that kind of overthrowing a tyrannical governmental system. So if that's your thing, like The Hunger Games, The Arena is one of my books that you might enjoy. Totally agreed. I'm rereading to prepare for Bloodmarked. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait for that one. I haven't even gotten through all of Legendborn and I got excited. That's why I went ahead and moved it up in my TBR. It was further down the list. I had a whole series ahead of it and I decided to go ahead and read it because I knew Bloodmark was coming out or was out. Is it out? I know soon. Jessica says, Sarah Sutton is such a great cozy read. Yes. This is the only book I haven't read. I've read everything else. I cannot wait until her next one comes out super soon, by the way. If you it sounds like we're all familiar with her. So go check her out if you're not, but I cannot wait for that next book to come out. So much fun. Yes, it's out. That's what I thought. I thought Bloodmark was out. I knew I had seen the cover somewhere, so I just assumed it was. Maybe now is a good time for us to go ahead and move into our first sprint. It's going 13, 14 or so minutes in, so maybe we should go ahead and move on to that. I have the timer set. Ooh, I don't want it quite that big yet though. So I always go for about 20 minutes a sprint, sometimes 25. We're going to start with 20 though. And let's see, share my screen here. Oh my goodness. Hello. It's not wanting me to go. Ah, holy moly. I know the last week when we did this, I didn't quite get everything switched for the second sprint, or maybe it was the third sprint. I just remember that the last time around that we did this, I didn't have the time displayed about half of the time. Jen says, heck yeah, I'm ready to get some productivity in. So am I. Oh my goodness. Come on. Shift. There we go. I'll figure it out, guys. Okay. How'd everybody do? Woo, that 20 minutes went really, really fast, probably because I was wrestling with technology. Oh my gosh. I swear I have to reteach myself how to share my screen every time. I think I can just go straight into it. I forget that one button. So when we started, at the end of last week's stream, I was at the beginning of chapter 9, and now I am just about to chapter 13. So I got quite a bit of editing done. This is not going to be my last pass. I'm going to have to go through it again to catch my orange tabs. So I have two different color tabs. The purple ones are just grammar structure things, so they're easy fixes. The orange ones are plot issues or places where I plan to build in more scenes. Those I think I'm going to have to go back through and hit on round 2, so I'm not as worried about them. I'm actually not going to pull them off. I've been pulling off all of the all these tabs as I go, and fix issues. So the orange ones I'll probably leave. But how did everybody else do? Jess says, my dog decided she needed to go out right as the sprint started. So I got about 10 minutes of editing in. Oh my gosh. So on Saturdays when I sit down for Jen's streams, she's in the comment section here. Every time I sit down at exactly the beginning of it or right as we start sprinting, just like you said, my dog decides she has to go outside. So I laugh, but the same thing happens to me every single time. I'm kind of amazed that she doesn't bug me during my live streams, probably because she's in another room bugging my husband, or else she probably would bug me. Speaking of Jen, got about 500 words down, adding in a little scene to this draft before I dive into the edits I've done by hand. That's what I need to do. I've been thinking about what scenes I want to add, and I know what scenes I like. I know all the characters involved, and I know what the scenes need to be. I'm just not for sure exactly where I want to insert them yet. I know I want to put one real early in this book, but I'm not sure. So that's something I actually need to sit down and look closer at, and do a little bit more like pre-writing or planning for. Yes. So my dog does that every time. She's just a little cuddler. She's definitely a lap dog and likes the attention and needs to be with people all the time. So if it wasn't for the fact that he has friends in a different room and they're working on some other things, then she would definitely be back here bugging us. Oh my goodness. My reread I did was so good. Having the manuscript printed out so I could edit by hand was one of my favorite ways I've edited anything up to this point. Yes, that's how I edit. So, oh my goodness. After I after I finish draft 1, I let it sit. Usually it's about a month. It depends on my timeline. Sometimes it's only a few weeks, but I let it sit so I can try to forget about it. So when I come back, I print the whole thing out, put it in my binder, and I go through and I just make notes. I don't change anything. I try not to work at all and just read and analyze. And then I go back in, which is what I'm doing now. So I have tried in the past to do all of that on my computer and make the little, make the comments on Word in the side. It just doesn't work for me. I don't know what it is. I think it probably is the same reason why I still buy the physical book rather than do Kindles or even audiobook for some books, depending on what it is. It's probably the same reason. I have to print it out. Plus having the notes there, it's easier for me to go back and see the difference in my drafts in case I want to go and use something I originally kicked out. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, guys. The allergies in the Midwest right now are nuts. We had like it was 66 one day, and it's January, which is like bizarre. And then a couple of days later, it was 30. the high. So we're all like dying out here. It is so satisfying to hold it physically printed out. It is. It really is. It kind of makes things more real. Just because as I love having a printed manuscript, yes. I always put the date I start editing on the front page of it. And then I put the final date and I sign it. I don't know, something about it. I think it also can be used for copyright purposes if you don't copyright it legally, because you don't have to. I always do. But I think if you have the original document like that and you can prove dates and stuff on it, I think it can help prove your copyright. I've always heard that when you finish a book and you start going through this process to seal it in an envelope and take it to the post office, because they can like date it and do the seal and stuff. That way you could, if you had to, you could pull it out and prove it. So there's just something about having that physical document that's kind of nice. Yes, definitely makes it feel more real to me. That's why I do it. It's just nice. It's like finally getting a proof copy in your hands, even though it's not the final copy, or maybe you have to go in and change the cover or something. Just having like the thing in your hands is just super satisfying. Oh my gosh. So, um it sounds like we're all editing for the most part tonight. That's kind of funny that we're all doing that. I was going to ask how everybody goes about editing their books, but that kind of just came up naturally. So it sounds like we all like to do the hard copy. I used to handwrite my books when I was going through school, and even up until maybe my sophomore or junior year of college, I would handwrite them. I think for the same reason I like to make the notes in the margins for editing. It's just there's something more engaging about doing it by hand than typing it in the computer. I'm more likely to remember things. I also made fewer mistakes when it came to grammar and spelling. So, I can't believe I ever did that though. No wonder I was a slow writer. That would take forever. All in this together. Yes. Yes. It's nice to have community because it can be so lonely sometimes doing the writing thing. I like to do first and second drafts by computer, maybe even third, but when it comes to more line edits, I need it printed out. Yeah, I think depending on the book, I could probably do it in the computer, like some of my standalone projects. Like Winter Witches, the book I wrote in December. I do plan to publish that one for the next holiday season. And that is not quite as heavy a subject. It's more of a light romance. The fantasy elements are just kind of like the quirky, like it's not the main plot, it's the underlying plot. So I don't have to focus so much on those details in the world building because it's set in our world. That one I could probably edit entirely on my computer and feel pretty good with that process. So maybe I will do that. I wish I could, because printing a whole book out and having all of that paper, oh my gosh. Ink is expensive, guys. So it would avoid that step, which I kind of like. Plus the track changes on Word is really convenient. So maybe I can try that with that book. Maybe I can make it happen for that. I don't know. Anything that needs a full read through, I do by hand, but smaller edits I do on the computer. I'd say I do that. Yeah, I do that too. There are some times when I go back and read through a scene, I can do that on the computer. And any new scene writing on the computer. Yep, that's what I do. I do a lot of that. Like when I actually go back through this draft for the orange tabs for all the plot things and put in those scenes, I don't think I don't know that I'll reprint this draft. I'll probably write them in, and then I might do maybe not a total read through of the whole thing, but I might do like sections of it to make sure, like continuity, and to adjust like character things just to make sure that everything flows nicely. But I don't know that I'll print the whole thing out. Hmm. That's interesting. Hmm. The scenes I'm adding in are going to be really fun ones. They're gonna be I'm finding that what I'm lacking is a little more like I have the romantic tension written in, but I don't feel like there's enough scene or there's been enough action to back up what some of the characters are saying. Like they're saying they feel this way, but we're not seeing it as much as I think we should. So that's what I'm adding in. I'm adding in more elements to solidify that. And I also need to add in scenes to make the main plot less obvious. There are some elements that I worry are going to be too obvious if I don't interweave things a little better. So I'm just trying to make sure that everything comes together nice and tight. So that's why I'm adding in those scenes. We'll see. I don't think I'm going to be able to get anywhere close to that tonight. I doubt I'll be able to do any of that kind of work until later in the week, but I do have a goal to finish this round of editing by Wednesday because I've been vlogging it and I want to get that video up by Wednesday. If I can't, I'll just try to flip around my YouTube schedule, but I think that I can get it done because I'm off tomorrow. It's Martin Luther King Day. So all schools are closed. I don't know if that's the same where everyone else is. Maybe not where Jen is. Up in Canada, but I'm out of work tomorrow. So I'm going to be home doing a lot of writing. I spent a lot of today just planning out my day for tomorrow. So I had a schedule. So everything fit in because I also have Finn with me. So I had to make sure everything was going to play out the way I kind of needed things to work together. Goals are still good. I'm sure we'll get lots of stuff done today. Yes. Yes. So far, I've got a lot done. I started at chapter 9 and now I'm almost to 13. So feeling pretty good. You got this. Thank you, Jessica. Nope. No more long weekends in January. Oh, that would be so nice. That's the thing with our school schedule this year. We have a couple breaks in January and we have a day off in February, but the rest of the spring is so long. There are no school holidays. We go the full week up until spring break. And usually by spring break, the kids are going crazy and driving the adults nuts. So it gets long. It's long, guys. Yep, lots of editing happening tomorrow for me too. Well, hopefully for the both of us, we can get a lot done. I've actually been playing with the idea of doing like a pop-up writing stream tomorrow because it is kind of nice to have the community as I go about it. I also can focus better. I feel like there's some accountability. So I don't know, maybe if I can get things together in my schedule, I'll throw something on YouTube tomorrow and we can write some more tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe. Okay. So I'm thinking probably a good time to move into our second sprint. We'll do another 20 minutes. That's usually a pretty good amount. It seems like if I go longer than 30, my brain just kind of goes. I start to zone out and start to think about other things. So 20 minutes is a pretty good time for me. I don't know about you guys. So we'll do another 20-minute sprint and we'll see where we get. I am 2 pages from chapter 13. So we'll see where we end up. All right. I'll see you guys in 20. All right. So I didn't get quite as far. I did get to chapter 14, but I ran into one of those plot things that was not actually a right insert scene here plot thing. It was actually a you need to fix this plot thing. So I had to stop and do a little bit of rewriting. It was maybe like a paragraph. It wasn't very long, but it did stop me. And of course, we had a guest. So, um, you guys all noticed it, didn't you? Yes, you did. Jen said, a baby. And Jessica said, June. Yes, June joined us. My Alex, my husband, came in to bring me a glass of water and he brought June with him, which means she was probably annoying the crap out of them. Which is fine. She doesn't annoy me. She just likes to be with people. She's not overly affectionate or like really wants to sit on you. She just wants to be with you. And so she's literally sitting like right here. But she had to come in. Um Jessica said 3 pages done, slow moving, but it is progress. Hey, any step forward is a step forward. What can I say? Even slow progress is progress. So I had that kind of a slow moment just now too. So what are you going to do? You'll get there. We all get there in the end. Whew. Got lost in that scene a bit, decided to change the POV for a section. So it's really fun to see how Finn would see the moment rather than Ari. That is something I I have like a love-hate relationship with multiple POV. I never thought I would write a book with it, but that is what happened in the arena. It's mostly told from Kenna's point of view, but there's a point where like something really traumatic happens to the main characters and the like troop gets split in half. So she ends up with one group and the love interest um Kieran ends up in another, and so we get 2 points of view from there so that I can show more of the action, and it really works, and I'm glad I made that decision. Um, so I totally see what you're saying about seeing from the 2 different, like, characters' viewpoints. There is something really fun about seeing how they all interpret things that I didn't fully understand until I wrote it in myself, and now I really like multiple point of view. It really depends on how it's done, though. Um, but I think in your cozy fantasy, it'll work really well because it's not just a romance. There's other elements and there's so much world building in that story from the little bit that you've told all of us on your live streams, Jen. I think it really works in that sense. Jen, I love multiple POV stories. I'm growing to like them also. Well, if you love cozy fantasy too, then you will love my book. I just love the whole idea of cozy fantasy. Ever since I first watched your stream and you'd mentioned that, I love the idea of that. It just sounds heartwarming. I love it. It is dual POV. Yes, I think that's awesome. It is coming out in the spring, hopefully early May. Oh my gosh, Jen, are we going to have a similar book release? Are we gonna have our books out in the same week? I haven't released an official date, but I'm kind of shooting for early May also. We'll see. I'm planning to nail that down this month so that I can start promotional stuff and get it up on Goodreads so people can put it on TBR and stuff. So I'm also looking at early May. Ooh, maybe. Ah. See, I'm thinking that first week of May, but like I said, I'm still nailing down some stuff. So I haven't committed to anything yet, but thinking about that. But I'm hoping for May 11th if everything goes smoothly. That'd be a good time. That'd be good. I'd like it. I'd like my book to be released before like school lets out for the summer and all of those like summer releases really go out because I don't want to miss some of that like fantasy, that spring fantasy releases. I'm worried that if I release too late or too close to the summer, that it'll get like missed among all of it's a lot of it's romance that comes out in summer, or like those beachy reads. I'm a little worried about getting missed in that mix with a spring release. So hopefully, it kind of depends if I can get all of my ducks in a row first. So we'll have to see. Um, really depends. Hopefully, though. What is everybody? Ooh, this is one we haven't covered. So we've just got through all of our TV shows. I know a lot of the things we watch, like we watch The Good Doctor, which is fun, and I'm not caught up on Law and Order SVU. That's another one we watch though, and Abbott Elementary. I love Abbott Elementary. It's pretty close to what I've experienced being a teacher and some of the issues in education, so I love it for that reason. It's also hilarious. Um, but before those are like coming back in full force, we've been watching Mythic Quest, which is on Apple TV. And it's sort of like The Office, except instead of Dunder Mifflin, the corporation they work for they create a video game. And it's super cool. It's all that nerdy stuff. If you like Dungeons and Dragons, it's all of that kind of stuff wrapped into this like corporation and like the business world. It's really fun. It's also a comedy. So we've been watching that, but now I'm out of things to watch, to stream on TV. So if you guys have any suggestions, especially like new things out on Netflix, I'm not, we've been doing a lot of Hulu, so I haven't gone through all of the Netflix releases recently. But if you have any suggestions, I would be glad to hear it. A second story is a summer book, so I'm hoping spring is a good time to launch. Right, it is right before summer, so that would work really well. You could tie that in for the summer season. Um, and I think it's about May-ish when some of like a lot of that beachy stuff tends to come out. I think it's later in the month, but that would be good timing for that. I've been meaning to watch Abbott Elementary. I love Quinta. She's so witty. I love Quinta too, which is why it was on my radar before they ever released it, was because I'd been following Quinta. She deserves all of that recognition she's gotten because she also created the series. Oh my gosh, she's so funny. Um, I'm it's super satisfying that she won. I think she got an Emmy, and I think she may have won a couple other awards now too. She deserves it. She's done so much work on that. Don't really watch a ton of shows, but I really love watching League of Their Own. That's one I've never watched, but it's a popular one. Jessica, I've been rewatching Vampire Diaries and Grey's Anatomy. Also been sucked into the trashy reality TV shows on Netflix. They have a bunch now. They've got a bunch of them, like Love Island, or there's another one on there. I don't know, but they have a bunch now through Netflix. Who would have thought that it'd be a streaming service to do reality TV stuff? But they do. They have tons. I have watched Vampire Diaries, I think twice now. I need to finish the originals. I didn't get all the way through the originals. I graduated college and I started teaching about the time when the originals was in like season 3 or 4. It had really like grown. And so I didn't get all the way through it. I fell behind. So I need to go back through and finish watching that. But I love Vampire Diaries. Grey's Anatomy, that's one I like, but I could never get really into it to like watch it beginning to end. But if it's on TV, I'd watch Grey's Anatomy. League of Their Own has Janice from The Good Place. Ooh, I do like The Good Place. It's queer, so it's so good. I don't like baseball, but man, the show hit. Yes, I'm not a big baseball fan. I am a sports kind of person, though. I have always been involved in sports. So, any of those kind of TV shows that center around athleticism, they tend to be my kind of thing, usually. My kind of thing. I'd probably enjoy it. But maybe I'll pick up that one. We do need something kind of in the in between, especially because I'm working on scheduling for the spring semester at work, at my day job, and that kind of stuff's just mind numbing. It's a lot of data inputting and then fixing. So it gets boring. And if I don't if I'm not multitasking, my brain just shuts off entirely and I don't do a very good job of it. So you should give it a try. I'll look it up. Maybe that's one that I could play while I'm plugging in all that information. I think that might be a good one. So let's see, 9:41. It is, I technically could stay up later and write with you guys a little bit longer than just 3 sprints, but it is a Sunday night and I know I can sleep in the morning, but maybe not everybody can. We'll definitely do the 3rd sprint though. We'll do another 20 minutes. Let's see. I just started into chapter 14. Regardless, I probably will stay up later and write. It may just not be with all of you guys on the stream. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I can. June, what do you need? She acts like she wants something from me. Oh no. So let's go ahead and let's start the 3rd sprint just so I can see whatever it is she wants. And we'll see where we are. Maybe if we're all feeling it, maybe we can do a 4th one. I don't know. We'll have to see. So here we go. Another 20 minutes on the clock and go. All right. I just got to a really big plot point. The whole scene got away from me. I lost track of time, big time. Oh my gosh. Jen. Yes, that's exactly what she wanted. So June just wanted to be acknowledged, and she was not happy because I was not acknowledging her. All right. Jessica says 4 pages done. That is great. Jen, I'm about 1,000 words more into this draft. Woohoo! That's pretty good. 1,000 words? Wow. So I got almost to the end of this chapter. Like I said, I got to a pretty big plot point. Oh, so I'm just being extra careful to make sure it's all good. I also ran into a couple more. There were more notes on this page than I thought there would be. So I'm thinking that I'm not sure. I might be able to stay up a little later. I probably need to check with Alex because it sounds like he's winding down and cleaning things up there. So I probably need to check in with him before I decide if I'm going to stay up later and work on this. But I'm thinking that maybe this is a good point for me to stop in this draft, because now that I'm kind of flipping through my pages, it looks like I might have to do a little bit extra writing in here and insert some things. Yeah, that's what it looks like. I did put one of my orange tabs. So I'm thinking I'm going to have to go in and maybe insert some more writing in here. So I'm thinking this is probably a good place for me to call it a night, or at least take a pause and step away for a minute. It is a lot easier when you're mainly just transcribing handwritten edits. Heck yes, that is mostly what I've been doing. But it seems like tonight's the night. These couple chapters are where a lot of my orange tabs were, my plot things for scenes. So these last 2 sprints, I've had to do a little bit more writing. So it's okay though. I'm getting a lot of things fixed, and they haven't been hard to fix. It just takes a little bit of time. So maybe I'll leave that project for tomorrow. That's true, but still amazing. Yes, I'm so glad that we were all able to get so much done tonight. Oh, like I said before, I really like doing these live streams. I don't usually have a lot of you guys here with me, but it's good just for accountability. Even if it's just me talking into the camera, it's kind of nice to have like a structure to it and know that if somebody watched it back and I wasn't doing my part, it wouldn't look very good. Plus, having friends along is super, super fun. I don't live close enough to any of my writing friends. They're all online. So that's about the only way I can connect with people is online. So that's one good thing that came out of the pandemic is I think we're all a little bit more used to doing that. I love having streams for that exact reason. Loved the time sprints. They keep me so motivated. Me too. I have ADD, and so if my brain is not allowed a certain amount of on time switched in with some kind of other stimuli out here, like time off, my brain will just go. So if it's just me sitting and writing, I'm not as likely to get nearly as much done as when I do during these live streams. So love doing them. I may have to really think about doing a pop-up live stream tomorrow, probably in the afternoon. Maybe we'll do that. Even if it's just me, um, it's like we were talking about. It's a little bit more accountability. So maybe I'll do one tomorrow just for that reason. So you guys are welcome to look for that. And I'll make sure to post that all over the place if I do end up doing it. If not, it'll just be me working throughout the day. So still planning to get tons done tomorrow. But that's, I think, pretty much the end of tonight's live stream. So thanks for joining me, guys. I'm planning on making this a regular thing in 2023. Every Sunday night, figure later is better. In case you have Sunday plans, Sunday is usually when I do dinner with my family because I live in the same town as them. And that gives me time to get back home, get everybody settled, get Finn in bed. We also host game night on Sunday nights, at least Alex and the boys do. So it's kind of a boys club. And so I usually do my writing this time anyway. Why not do it live with some friends along the way? So join me 8:20 on YouTube every Sunday. I'll see you again next week, hopefully. And I have been going live on TikTok as I get set up for this. So that's also been fun. You can join me there if you'd like to. But I think that's it. Yeah. Thank you guys for all of your comments, sticking around. Oh my gosh, I forgot your son's name was Finn. Oh, I forget that your character's name is Finn until you bring it up. So it goes two ways. Yes, and occasionally when you've mentioned um like whatever your characters are up to and Finn's being romantic or something, my brain is always like, wait a minute, this is really weird. So yeah, I forget that sometimes too. But I will see you guys next week. Must be a lot of fun for you to read. It is. So go and join Jen's live stream Saturdays and then come back for mine the next day on Sunday. It makes for a really nice weekend, I think, anyway. I enjoy having the streams throughout the weekend like that. And that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I will see you next week. Bye.